Hey now, ladies and gentlemen. Hey now, hey now, hey now, hey now, hey now, hey now, and a hey now. Welcome to our number three of the line. Talk 99.5. Andrew Mclain, John Bird barely made it back in here in time.
You just did.
I was on TikTok live and I went to the bathroom to pee and I forgot to cut it off. So,
Dude,
but and I mean, I
you
cut
gotta get
it.
banned.
No, as soon as I started peeing, I cut it off. But it wasn't like they saw
So you were
anything.
teasing the audience.
It was. I didn't mean to do it.
I'll bet.
It was just a thing. So anyway, and then after I cut it off, I became bladder shy, and it took me a minute to get it out.
Bladder shy? I've never heard that before.
Nah, I think as I get older, I think it's like harder to get it going. You know?
Yeah, I mean,
Is that a thing?
it can be, but for me, I mean, I'm fortunate. It cranks right up, and then kapow.
Does that mean that if I find it hard to release, is that a sign of anything? Do I need to be concerned?
You might want to get your prostate checked,
And
also, it could be a sign of impending ED. It could be several things.
it's not like it hurts or anything. It's just
Well,
just
that
takes,
would be a whole nother
yeah.
thing.
But
there.
I'm just saying, like I have to sit there and think about it for a minute.
Do you do your Kegels?
No,
You don't do Kegels every day,
I do not.
dude. That will really help take care of that.
Yeah, I think I remember you telling me that.
Yeah, you see, I'm doing Kegels right now.
It sounds like a lot of fun.
No, it's not fun, but dedication will pay off.
Kegel dedication.
Kegel dedication.
Interesting. Right now, you've got Todd Blanche, acting attorney general at the Justice Department, giving a press conference on fraudsters ripping off our country and how they're being put on notice. That's a larger story that we may talk about a little later in the show. I don't know that there's going to be any relevant information come out of that, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. Let me go back to Brett, who is looking for somebody's uncle or something. Brett, go ahead.
Yeah. All right. So, do you think if we're dealing with crazy people, do you think we should tell them when we're going to attack them?
Yeah, I think we've attacked them a lot over the past several weeks and haven't told them what we were doing. If you're talking about in the sense of, the 7 p.m. deadline tonight, you had to let them know they have until, X time to make a decision. Otherwise, there's going to be some severe consequences. And who's to say that that's even what he does? Maybe he does something totally different. Donald Trump,
he gave
when it
them
comes
the
to
targets.
when it
He
comes
gave
to
them the targets of what he was going to hit, so they could protect them, right?
Right. So that leads me to believe that there is another plan in place, as there always is. Donald Trump knows what he's doing. This is not amateur
or he
hour.
don't know what
If
he's
you
doing.
haven't if you've been watching over the past few weeks and you think we're just dealing with amateur hour with the most advanced military and the smartest top military generals, that they're just flying by the seat of their pants at this point, you're kidding yourself.
Well, Andrew, I've seen that monkey with an AK-47, shooting it, and he's not very smart, but as long as he's got that gun, which is our military, you can be as stupid as you want to be, right? But as long as you got the military to back you up, you're good, right?
Wait, who are you calling stupid?
The president.
Oh, okay. So what's your larger point here? You think he should have just told Iran that, hey, you need to make a decision by 7 p.m. tonight, and if you don't, then we just won't do anything?
No, he didn't. He just said you got till 7 p.m. tonight. That's it. Right? Is that okay?
And that would have accomplished what? What kind of motivation would they have to come up with a decision by 7 o'clock?
They have no motivation because they know they're dealing with the most dumbass president this country has ever had. There's no respect for this country around the world because of this jackass for the last 12 years in our political system.
Then why are all the other Middle Eastern countries not only working with us but encouraging us to finish the job if nobody's got respect for
Who
us?
said that? Where's that at?
Saudi Arabia, the UAE, all the
Well, how about
countries.
the people that are in Iran that are getting
Pakistan's
on the
actually
and
working.
protecting the power plant?
Pakistan's actually working directly with us to broker the peace deal. So everybody in the Middle East seems to be on the side of the dumbass you're speaking of.
Your most brilliant man in the world shouldn't need Pakistan to negotiate a peace deal.
Well, it's they're one of many players involved because they have a vested interest in ridding
How
the
come
region
all
of this
these
regime.
jackass countries couldn't get together since last June and get this done? How come we had none of this before June, since June of last year and two or 3 weeks ago? Why didn't we have all this going on before then?
Because nobody can match the power and might of the U.S. military. Nobody's got anything near what we have.
So nobody could talk about it until we started doing this. Now, see, Trump's not in control because the straits are still closed, and they'll be closed as long as the Iranians want them closed. Because we have no power. We can't protect anybody. We've shown how weak we really are.
Gotcha.
And this is going to go on for 6 months to a year. This is not going to be over anytime soon.
So the U.S. is weak, the military is weak, and it's being run by a dumbass. Just taking notes here, Brett.
The military is the military is good.
Well, then why are they?
Jackass.
You're saying that Iran is obviously winning this war. That would lead me to believe that the military is weak and ineffective. Is that correct?
No, you
Sounds
can't
like what you're
win
saying,
this
though.
war. You can't win this war. Just like Russia couldn't win the war in Afghanistan. You cannot win the war in this region of the world. They've been around thousands of years, and y'all don't understand their history. But y'all, rah rah shish kumbah, your little jackass president you got. I'll be so glad when he's gone. I'll be so glad.
I thought he was going to stay around. I thought he wasn't going to leave office since he's a dictator.
Let him try that one. Y'all not going to get past the midterms, man. Y'all are going to get sunk in the midterms. Y'all are going. It's going to go back to this country the way it used to be. No Republicans have any say so in nothing. You just sit over there and be yourself and leave everybody alone and stop tearing up shit.
You might want to dump that, John Bird.
Yeah, sorry about that.
All right, see ya.
TDS.
Imagine,
Come on, Brett.
Imagine living in a mindset where you're like, man, I miss the way the country used to be back when people like Joe Biden were running the show. Back when this country was really good shape. Chinese spy balloons flying over the country. Now nobody's got respect for us. Even though world leaders all over the globe are coming to the White House on a regular basis and kissing Trump's ass, nobody's got any respect for us. Gotcha. All right, let's roll with the phone calls. Keep going with it. 205-545-9950 if you want to get in. I'll just start from the top with Tracy and Margaret. Tracy, how are you?
Hey now.
Hey now.
Andrew, I love your show, man. I do. Love your show. I appreciate the hard work
buddy.
you put into it. Why do you let that guy even remotely on the radio? That guy's ridiculous.
It's almost, and I'll just say real quick, it's almost like I don't know, it's like a science project, if you will. I talk about people like Brett all the time, but it's one thing for me to talk about these individuals. It's another thing for me to, bring out an example and actually present it to you and say, see, what I'm telling you about these individuals is true. They don't have two brain cells to rub together.
Roger that. Let me ask you something. Did you ever watch Saturday Night Live back when Will Ferrell was on there?
Yeah, I've seen a little bit of it.
Did you ever see Will Ferrell's impression of Harry Carey?
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah.
That That is exactly what Brett sounded like. Sounded like a just an absolutely drunk moron just ranting. And my gosh, man, it's just I hate that there are people out there who have so much disdain for wisdom in their life. I mean, it's very sad.
Yeah.
Very sad. It's a sad person.
I mean, to his main point was that Trump is just this dumbass. And it's amazing to me that anybody can look at, we can even forget his private sector life and the success that came with that. But, the fact that he was able to win the presidency against all odds in 2016, get cheated out of an election in 2020, get arrested and raided and tried to throw him in jail for the rest of his life and everything else, and then to come back and win another election, it's like, how could a dumbass pull off all of these different things? I just don't. I don't seem to understand.
Yeah, well, you just think about how much he's been investigated. If there was anything that the Democrats could have used against him, they would have. Anybody with any sense knows that. But apparently, Brett's not one of those guys. So I'm out. See ya.
See you, buddy. Yeah, Brett doesn't fall in that category. Whether it's Mueller reports or impeachments or the Epstein files or whatever, for a guy that's that big of a DA, he has been able to evade anything and everything thrown at him. So, Renee's in McCullough. Renee, what's up?
What's up?
Hey now.
Brett is delusional. He literally sounds like he just woke up off of a bender.
He kind of
I don't know what's going on with that guy, but he needs to calm down or he's going to have a stroke. He sounded rough. That's all I got. Peace out.
Thanks, Renee. Yeah,
she's right.
I often wonder, it's and again, going back to the point of why do you let Brett on the show? Part of it is, I don't know. It could be therapy for him. Maybe I'm doing it for his own good. But there's also times where you can hear the blood pressure rising over the phone line, and you start to wonder, is he creeping towards an aneurysm, which we do not want.
No.
We don't want Brett harmed or injured in any way, shape, or form. But he is, you get in that mindset, and you never hear Brett call in without getting extremely heated towards the end of the call, no matter how calm I am with him. It doesn't matter. It's got to be exhausting, and it's really, detrimental to yourself, your health, your mental health, your physical health, to be in such a state of hatred against one person, whether that's Donald Trump or anybody else. It literally consumes your life. It is now your mentality, no matter what it is you look at, whether it's the news or entertainment or whatever. You have created an identity for yourself that revolves around one person. And so you allow that individual that you claim to hate so much to live in your head rent-free day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year, to the point that a lot of people, and I think probably including Brett, have been doing this for a decade. You've allowed, and who knows what these individuals were like back in 2014 or 2013 or whatever, but they've allowed Donald Trump to entirely change their personality and who they are. And people change over the course of 10 years, of course, but personality-wise, who you are, mentally and emotionally, if you hate that guy so much, if I hated somebody that much, I would try to distance myself from that individual as much as possible. Not pay attention to what they're doing, not keep up with them, not constantly read the headlines about them. And that may be difficult when you're talking about the president of the United States, but nobody's forcing you to keep up with the news. Nobody's forcing you to watch Rachel Maddow every night or, keep up with all the liberal propaganda that's being thrown across your TV screens and social media. But if you do that, hey, that's on you, man. That's the life you want to live. I see you guys on the phone line coming to you, 205-545-9950, the line, Talk 99.5. Alabama Men's Clinic, alabamamensclinic.com, alabamamensclinic.com. Get with these guys, man. If you're feeling rough, you're feeling tired all the time, you just don't have the get up and go that you used to. And a lot of people, especially as the seasons change, you can kind of start to feel that a little bit, maybe a lot. I'm over here watching YouTube. It started playing back at me. Come on, man. Alabama Men's Clinic, though, for real. These guys are great. Low T is what it's about. It's not just about your intimate life. It's about really showing up. As men, we play a very vital role when it comes to our families, and we've got to be there for our wives. We've got to be there for our children. We got to be there for work. We got to show up every day. There's an order, and of course, you've got priorities, and this is the way it should go. By the way, your priority list should be number one, God. Number two, your wife, and your kids, number three. And a lot of people don't do it in that order. Some people put their kids before their wife. Don't do that. Put God, your wife, and then your kids in that order. That is biblically sound, by the way. But no matter how you view that, it is important that you show up for all three of those, and then show up for your outside commitments, your work, your hobbies, whatever it may be. And if you're running on low T, it can affect all of that. And when you're running on an appropriate level of testosterone, then everything around you elevates. It not only affects your life and how you feel, but it affects how your families feel, your coworkers, for those of you that are business owners, your clients. It makes such a difference. And I don't want to see you guys just kind of dragging through life. I want to see you get up and be the best you. Now, there's all that, and that's very important stuff, but also your intimate life is very important, and you know how low T affects that. It can affect everything in the bedroom, and it may be low T, it may be things about your equipment that you don't like or something like that. They've got solutions for all that stuff at Alabama Men's Clinic. I'm so proud to be able to, and I know it's kind of an awkward conversation for a lot of you guys, and it may be embarrassing or whatever, but swallow your pride. Don't be embarrassed. These guys deal with it every day. They deal with it themselves. They use these solutions themselves, and I want you to get out there and let them take that first step by letting them test your levels and see where your testosterone is at, and then they can build a plan from there. It's a very laid-back, low-key setting. Nothing, no kind of pressure, nothing like that. And these guys are very easy to talk to. So get in touch with them. 205-598-7000. That's 205-598-7000. Online, alabamamensclinic.com. alabamamensclinic.com. I don't care if you're 20 or 80 years old or anywhere in between. Get in touch with these guys. Go ahead and set an appointment at the website. Let them know Andrew Mclain sent you. Let me go through some more of these phone calls. Richard, the cop's on the line. Richard, what's up?
I'm going to say what I'm going to say, and then I'm going to hang up, Andrew. First thing, whatever jackass got Brett's mama pregnant or to be shot in his sleep. Number two, they're thinking Donald Trump's they're calling him Hitler. They've called him Hitler the whole time. The way to end this Iranian problem is to wipe them all out. So you take all your soldiers and stand them at arm's length around the complete border of the country, put your bayonets on and walk through and just get rid of everybody with a bayonet. Y'all have a good day.
I see what Richard was like. I'm just going to say what I got to say and hang up.
Yeah.
You want to respond to that?
God bless America.
All right, I'm already up against the break. Noto Roofing, real quick, NOTOroofing.com, NOTOroofing.com, 848-2299, best roofing company out there. Get with them. Make sure you tell them Andrew Mclain sent you. Free roof inspection, complimentary roof tune-up. It's all for you right there waiting on you. 848-2299, NOTOroofing.com. 205 545 9950 545 9950. Andrew Mclain and John Bird. Looking at the text line real quick. Blake says, Andrew, the only problem I see with this war is why did Trump say what he was going to hit? Why not just blow it all up and be done with it? Well, I mean, this has long been speculated by, Trump has said this well before now, and it's been speculated in the media and among, experts and everything else that the last thing to do to Iran to completely take them out is blow up the electricity, the infrastructure, the power infrastructure, and take over the oil. We knew that, they knew that, and so essentially he was saying that we are now at that point. I see where people say, why would you say that? Because now allegedly, and keep in mind, this is hours and hours before the deadline is even set to hit. Why would you say that and give Iran the opportunity to put women and children out in front of these power plants and bridges? My theory to that is they're not going to keep these individuals. They can't keep these individuals standing at these bridges and these power plants for the rest of time. They're not going to be there forever. So it's not like Trump said at 7 p.m. we're going to drop the bombs. At some point they'll move on and go off to something else. At some point these bridges and these power plants are going to be unmanned, if you will. This is just posturing on their part. On the other side of it, the technology and the skill and the precision that the U.S. military has could probably take out these things in a different way. He said power plant day and bridge day, right? He didn't say dropping a MOAB on power plants and bridges. He didn't say we were actually going to bomb them. So who knows what the strategy is. But what I say to that, if it looks like on paper that Donald Trump has made some sort of rookie mistake, I dare you to just back away for a second and say to yourself, would Donald Trump really do something that amateur? Would Donald Trump, with as much as he thinks through and the plan Bs and the plan Cs that always seem to be in place, would he really make a mistake that amateur? And I think the answer is no. I don't think that Trump, as he's gotten this far into this, that with the advice of all the top generals and the smartest people in the military, would just come out and make a mistake that some jabroni like Andrew Mclain would be able to point out. What I'm trying to say essentially is trust the process. This guy knows what he's doing, and the president of the United States and the greatest military in the history of the world is not going to be fooled by the Iranians putting their citizens at power plants and bridges. That's not what's going to give Iran the W in this war. So just let it play out the rest of the day. Trust the process, is one great football coach once said. Is that what Nick Saban used to say? Trust the process.
Trust the process.
And let's see how this plays out. Because I guarantee you that it's not going to play out in the way that the Iranian regime thinks it's going to play out. They're 12 steps ahead of these individuals. Jay says, you are wrong, sir. I do and do not enjoy when Brett calls in. Why do you torture us with his stupidity? Again, it's just examples. I'm trying to help you all out to equip you with the knowledge of what's out there. Because one of these days you're going to run into one of those people and you need to know what to expect. West says, Um. Oh, I guess this is when we held him over. Can't wait to listen to what Numbnuts has to say today. Also, just think he is the one who made it through to fertilize the egg. He was the fastest sperm. What a race that was. Brett needs to be careful. He is going to blow a cell.
This is brutal.
Trucker Jack says, remind Brett about all the missiles his hero Obama launched while he was the president. And then the sense of worrying about Donald Trump killing Iranian civilians, Obama actually killed American citizens with missiles, but nobody wants to bring that up anymore. Robert says, ask Brett if he is a relative to AOC. Could be a possibility. Bubba Rumble says, it's nice of Brett to take time away from his, from diddling his mangina and call in to bestow his wisdom upon us.
Oh, man.
Jackson said, quote, as soon as I started peeing, I cut it off. Dude, that's the craziest thing I've ever heard on the radio. Taylor, Brett's TDS has sadly progressed to where it is now logic resistant. Justin says Democrats are going to keep losing until they start letting their base actually pick a candidate. Good point. Good point. Christina says, preach it, Andrew. Take care of yourself so you can give your all to the Lord, wife, and family. Don, I agree with the cop. Dixter says, Richard the cop tells it like is salam likum. Remember, Dixter speaks in a different language, especially over text. It's just one of those things. David's in Hoover. David, what's up?
Hey, yeah. Well, talking about the women and children that they've got in front of the power plants over there. I mean, even if the Trump team, and y'all may have talked about this already, I just turned the show on, but even if the Trump team didn't foresee that happening, I mean, what a golden opportunity to blast that out to the entire world, or maybe the blast is the wrong word, but to preach that out to the entire world that these are the people we're fighting, that they're going to put their women and children on display in front of the places that we're going to attack, and that's the mentality of these folks, and they're savages, and it could be spun, even if we can't do, the artillery onto it currently, which, like you said, that, can be done at any time or different ways that might be, hacking or whatever just to shut them down. But, just the optics are in our favor heavily on this.
Well, that's the thing. And I brought that up. I know you said you just joined, but I brought that same point up last hour, a couple hours ago, that this is just a prime example of who we're dealing with. These people, this regime cares so little about their own citizens that they're willing to take the risk of having them blown to smithereens, because what's more important to them than the lives of their citizens is being able to win this information war or propaganda war across the world and make themselves out to be the good guys and make them sympathetic to be with the rest of the world, to be sympathetic towards them and their cause. It's just another example. And people, we forget that in the lead up to us even conducting this operation, Iran killed 45,000 of their own citizens in the streets that were protesting against the government. I mean, that's a human rights crisis that if it were to be happening anywhere else, or if it were to be happening in this country, the world would be losing their minds. So does everybody that's against this, do you care that little about these people? And why? Is it because they're Muslim? Is it because they're brown? Why do these people, the citizens of Iran, why do they matter less than anybody else across the world? Why don't they deserve liberation, or they deserve to be saved?
Yeah. Well, if it was any other president, any other country doing this, the entire world, all the free nations at least, would be praising what we're doing. But the fact is, Trump, and you got to hate everything Trump does. We can't even say, like, you can't overturn a regime that's killed 40 or 30 or 1,000 people of their own people this year, and also going to use women and children as deterrents to, human shields. They're going to use women and children as human shields. And somehow still we're the bad guys in a lot of people's eyes.
That's right.
It just boggles my mind. But anyway, great show. Y'all take care.
Thank you, buddy. I appreciate it, David. That's another point. And again, I do get frustrated by conservatives that are out of their mind over this issue, especially somebody like Tucker Carlson, who, again, I'm not always going to agree with Tucker, but I love Tucker. I think he's a great political mind, and he's been right about so many things. And he's done wonders for the rise of Donald Trump and America First and the MAGA movement. But, he is a guy that has been sympathetic to the Iranians, seems to be sympathetic to the Iranian civilians at this point, and has been sympathetic to the citizens of Gaza and the Palestinians. He has really gone out of his way to stand up for those that are innocent and end up losing their lives in a military conflict. And I can't help but wonder why those 45,000 that have been killed this year and the people that are continuing to be killed in Iran, why do they not matter? And are we supposed to just allow that to happen? Because there was no conflict. There was no American military operations happening in Iran when they were killing their own citizens in the streets, right? So the question ends up being, and again, this is not even the main reason we're over there, but the question ends up being, do the lives of these individuals in the Middle East, whether it's Iran or Gaza, do they only matter when they're killed by a foreign government or when they're killed by a foreign military? Is it okay as long as that their own government is the one slaughtering them in the streets? That's fine, but it becomes a big deal when a foreign government or a foreign military drops a bomb and ends up having collateral damage of citizens, civilians losing their lives. Because I don't think, in my mind, you can't do both. Like, you've got to be unhappy with the death of innocent civilians, no matter who is responsible for their death. You should be mad at both. You can be mad at the Israeli government, thinking that they were a little too brash in their war in Gaza, in their attempt, and I think, their attempt to go in there and what they've done in Gaza was an attempt to strategically eradicate Hamas and to get their citizens back. I think they had a right to do that. Was there collateral damage? Did children end up dying in that conflict? Absolutely. Did they take it a little too far? Were they a little too trigger happy? I don't know. Probably. But why does it only matter to some individuals that civilians are dead at the hands of a foreign government, and it doesn't matter to them if they're dying at the hands of the Palestinian people? If they get killed by Hamas within their own borders, no biggie. If Iranians die at the hands of the IRGC, as long as it's within their own borders, it's okay. Make it make sense to me. If you care about the lives of these people and you view this as a human rights crisis, then you should be like, yeah, we do need to send a message to the Iranian regime. We do need to subdue the IRGC, because if we just leave, guess what they're going to go back to doing? Well, two things. One, get back to their nuclear program. And two, get back to killing their own citizens on a regular basis. And I can't help but go back to, and it's because I've seen so much of it. Donald Trump's tweet from this morning. Let me read it to you one more time in case you haven't heard it yet. But chances are you've heard it because everybody's panicking about it because they're new to. They just woke up this morning and found out Donald Trump's president and never heard him before or read one of his tweets. He said, "A whole civilization will die tonight, never to be brought back again. I don't want that to happen, but it probably will." He says, "However, now that we have complete and total regime change where different, smarter, and less radicalized minds prevail, maybe something revolutionarily wonderful can happen." I've struggled with that word. Who knows? We will find out tonight one of the most important moments in the long and complex history of the world. 47 years of extortion, corruption, and death will finally end. He uses words like probably, who knows, maybe something revolutionarily wonderful can happen. He's saying that maybe we don't have to do this. But it's amazing how many people, especially on X, have clearly never watched a real negotiation with a terrorist regime or any terrorist entity for that matter. This isn't sunshine and rainbows. It's not. It's pressure, it's consequences, and it's making it unmistakably clear that if the Iranian regime won't change their ways, they highly risk being ended. Let's get something straight. Because this keeps getting butchered, and this is what everybody is concentrating on when he says a whole civilization will die tonight. The civilization he's talking about ending is the Islamist regime. The a-holes that took over 47 years ago and literally ruined the original Persian civilization in Iran that no one in the West seems to ever show sympathy or empathy for. You want to talk about the history and how long Iran's been around? This Iran has been around 47 years. That's it. That's not very long. That distinction shouldn't be this hard. And no, they shouldn't be forced to be subservient to terrorists for another 50 years because somebody with 50,000 followers on some social media echo chamber said so. While some people are rushing to defend a failed terrorist state, and I hate to see this through conservatives, many conservatives, the same regime has been hanging teenagers this whole past week. I've seen zero concern for that. They've also been sending 12-year-olds to be cannon fodder. They're sending children and women to be blown up by a bomb tonight at 7 o'clock. So spare me the outrage. And for the people that are immediately spiraling into this means nuclear war, you got to take a Xanax. You got to chill and relax a little. All this literally is ending is a future nuclear threat. Not every hard line equals global catastrophe. That's not how this works. People have grown so used to watching terrorist propaganda that they don't even recognize what resolve looks like. The regime we're talking about here is a paper tiger. Let them fold or make a choice that'll lead to their ultimate demise. Get your freaking panties out of a wad.